Lobethal is a town in the Adelaide Hills area of South Australia. It is located in the Adelaide Hills Council local government area, and is nestled on the banks of a creek between the hills and up the sides of the valley. It was once the centre of the Adelaide Hills wool processing industry, which continued until around 1950. The mill buildings are now used by a number of cottage industry and handcraft businesses. At the 2006 census, Lobethal had a population of 1,836, which had grown to 1957 by the 2011 census. The town is famed during the Christmas season for its display of Christmas lights and decorations, which have attracted visitors from around the state since the 1950s. History. Origin of the name Lobethal is German for Valley of Praise. On the day of the division of the land, according to Reverend I.'s account, it received the name ʻloʊbəθəl, taken from the 2 Book of Chronicles, chapter 20, verse 26, which, according to Luther's translation, means Lobethal or Valley of Praise. Due to the Great War in Europe, in 1917 the South Australian state government changed many German place names. The name Lobethal was changed to Tweed Vale. Lobethal was reinstated as the town's name with the enactment of the South Australia Nomenclature Act of 1935 on the 12th of December 1935. European settlement. Lobethal was settled in 1842 by Prussian immigrants who came out with Pastor Gotthard Fritzsche aboard the sailing vessel Skjold, who initially went to Handorf but were alerted to good land in the upper Ånkeparinga. German Lutheran settlers provided compatriot Johann Friedrich Krumnau, who had arrived in South Australia 3 years earlier and was a naturalized English citizen, with funds for land purchases to establish the community. Krumnau wanted it based on his own principles of shared property and fervent prayer. The Lobethal settlers rejected Krumnau's vision and legally disputed his right to the land titles. Many of the traditions remain to this day, although the town is not as overtly Germanic as Handorf and under. In 1845, St. John's Lutheran Church was built. It is now the oldest Lutheran church building in Australia. A new church has been built alongside the town. As with many German towns in South Australia, it was built in typical Silesian Hof and Dorf style, with the cottages arranged in a line along the main street, and each family having a long, narrow strip of land stretching from the main street back to the village common, where all families could allow their animals to graze. The advantages of this layout were that everyone had access to both fresh water and the main road, and a relatively even distribution of fertile and infertile land. While the town developed out of recognition, elements of the Hof and Orf layout remain. In 1850, F.W. Kleinschmidt set up a brewery. It closed after about 2 decades when Kleinschmidt turned his attention to hop growing, which subsequently became a focus for Lobethal's agriculture. The brewery itself was turned into the Lobethal Tweed Factory, which became the Ånkeparinga Woolen Company and operated until 1992. A cricket bat factory utilizing locally grown willow also operated from 1894 until 1950. Geography. Lobethal is located between Gummaracha and Woodside along the north-south road, and east of Adelaide via McGill and Norton Summit. At the ABS 2001 census, Lobethal had a population of 1,653 people living in 707 dwellings, making it the largest town in the northern Adelaide Hills region. There are over 450 Lutherans in Lobethal, making it the dominant affiliation. Facilities. Lobethal contains 2 hotels, 2 primary schools and a country fire service station. The Lutheran Church complex and the Archives and Historical Museum nearby. which contains a great deal of information about the lives of the German settlers. A tourist attractions, Fairyland Village and Fauna Park tries to provide a visual interpretation of some of Grimm's fairy tales, complete with native animals and light lunches. Lobethal Beer House is a regional beer brewery, with German-style influences. Culture. The town is famous around Adelaide for its display of Christmas lights along its main streets in December each year. Many residents also adorn their front gardens and verandas with elaborate displays. The tradition began in the 1950s and is the largest Christmas display in South Australia. In 2003, parts of Lobethal were transformed by the production of the movie The Honourable Wally Norman. Lobethal formed one-third of the town used in the movie. Mount Barker and Nairn provided other parts as well. Transport. The area is serviced by Adelaide Public Transport. Buses run from Lobethal to the Adelaide CBD via the Southeastern Freeway and Onkaparinga Valley Road. There are also buses from Lobethal to Verdun Junction and Mount Barker. A coach is operated from Tea Tree Plaza Interchange to Gumiracha and Mount Pleasant by affordable coach lines. Motorsport. Lobethal was the host town for the 1939 Australian Grand Prix, Australia's premier motor race of that year. The race, which was won by Alan Tomlinson driving an MG car, was staged on the Lobethal circuit, which comprised public roads in and around the town.